Hey fellas, the last section of chapter 7 here is solving systems of inequalities instead of equations. Okay, so these are going to be greater than or less than, or greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, instead of equal signs. But it's the same concept. It's going to take us back to graphing. You can't do it with substitution and elimination, unfortunately. But it's pretty simple to graph these, so I'll just do a couple examples here. First one is y is less than 3x. Okay, so we need to graph this. Remember to graph it. We've got to get it into y equals mx plus b form, which we have. So you graph the y-intercept, which is 0. Okay, and then you go up 3 to the right 1, and connect the dots. Now remember that if it's got an equal sign in it, then it's a solid line. If it does not, then it's going to have a dotted line. Okay, so we're going to connect all of these with dotted line. Okay, and there is y is less than 3x. Now remember that the way that you shade is based on the sign. Okay, so less than always means you're going to be shading the bottom underneath, and greater than means you'll be shading on top. So this one will be shading down at the bottom right here, if you see with the laser pointer, but I'm not going to shade yet because I have to graph the other inequality as well. Okay, so the other one, y is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 1. I've got the 1 there. Okay, go down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1. You can go up 2 to the left 1, and we connect the dots. This one is going to be a solid line because it's less than or equal to. And there are two inequalities. Okay, now greater than or equal to the negative 2x plus 1 means you shade above it. So we're going to shade up here. Okay, and for the dotted one, we need to shade down here. All we're going to do is we're going to shade where they overlap. Okay, so where those both overlap is going to be right in here. Okay, so another way to look at it is think about doing this. Okay, another way to shade this, if the shading's hard for you, is shade in different directions. So let's shade the first equation first. Okay, so we're going to shade all going this way. Okay, for this one, that's that whole area, right? And then shading for the other one, you're going to shade above, and we'll go the other direction. Okay, just like that. Wherever they crisscross, that's going to be the final shaded region. So I'll fill that in with red so we can kind of see what it looks like. And that's how it's done. Next example. Okay, so y is greater than or equal to 0 is the first thing. Remember, if y is greater than or equal to 0, that means that it's got to be somewhere on this x-axis. Okay, that's the graph of y is greater than or equal to 0. Greater than means we're going to shade above that. We'll keep that in mind for later. All right, x is greater than negative 3, so you go to x negative 3. 1, 2, 3 to the left. Dotted line going straight up and down. Remember, every x equals is a dotted as a vertical line, and a y equals graph is a horizontal line. Okay, and we're going to be shading to the right on that one because greater than negative 3 is going to be to the right. And lastly, 2x plus 3y is less than or equal to 6. We need to convert that to y equals mx plus b so we can graph it. So we'll have 3y is less than or equal to negative 2x plus 6. And divide both sides by 3 to get y is less than or equal to negative 2/3 x plus 2. And we'll graph this one. Got to go up 2 for the y-intercept, then do the slope, down 2 to the right 3, or up 2 to the left 3. And since this one is less than or equal to, we keep it as a straight solid line. And that's what it looks like. So, where are we going to shade? Well, think about it this way. Let's start with the first one. All right, the y is greater than or equal to 0. You're going to shade above. Okay, so you could think about that visually. X is greater than negative 3. You're going to shade to the right, so it'll be all this stuff. So right now the overlapped portion is this whole area. Okay, and then lastly, y is less than or equal to this negative 2/3 x plus 2 graph. which means it's got to be below it, and so that tells us that this little triangle here is the shaded portion. All of this. And you're done. Okay, one more. Last one here. We just got y is less than 2. Okay, so to graph y is less than 2, we got to go up to y equals 2, which is right here. Less than, so it'll be a dotted line. And less than tells us we're going to shade below it. And the other one here, 2x plus y is greater than or equal to 3. Solve for y is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 3, and then we can graph. So we got to go up to 3, then do the slope, down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1, and it's greater than or equal to, so we'll have a solid line. That looks like that. Okay, so we got the dotted horizontal line, the solid slanty line there, and let's do the shading. Okay, y is less than 2 means it'll be this whole portion down here, and y is greater than negative 2x plus 3, which means it's all of this. Remember, we're shading up above it because it's greater than. If it was less than, we'd shade below it, but it's greater than, so we'll shade above. So the portion that we're going to shade is going to be the shared portion all down here, and we'll do that right now. Here's the shading, and you're finished. That's simple. Good luck, guys.